Why would you surrender your fight for life? Why do you feel guilty about you?
Look, a lot of people that are beggars have been successful people. Right? Actually, I was listening to a BBC program one day. It was kind of interesting. This reporter was in BBC reporter with an upper class British accent. She was in New York, and her program was just talking to people. Walk along the street, talk to people. And so she runs into this one man, and she said, "Well, how are you?" "I'm very well, And where are you going?" He said, "Well, I'm going to go buy my drugs." And I kind of thought, well, going to the pharmacy, "Oh yeah, what kind of drugs are you going to buy?" "Oh, heroin. I'm addicted to heroin." And then he tells the story that he has had a successful business. He employed a couple of hundred people. They had about $400,000 or $500,000 US dollars worth of assets, cash, stocks, whatever. And somebody visited him one day with a pipe filled with heroin, and he had a puff, and then that was pretty good, and it reduced the stress, and so he bought some. And slowly but surely, he started to really enjoy having a puff of heroin. And then it got to be a little bit of an expensive habit, so he had a partner, and started to basically steal from the business. Anyhow, collapsed the business, et cetera, et cetera. So here he is today, homeless, addicted to heroin, and how he makes a living is he traps pigeons for Chinese restaurants. That's what he claimed. There's lots of pigeons, I guess, in New York City. And so here's an individual that I said to myself, okay, we have the big five: alcohol, drugs, sex, money, power. And in my humble estimation, having been I was addicted to cigarettes, for instance, right? And I have smoked for 20 years, and smoking is a great habit. If anyone's ever said it's a terrible habit, it's not true. As soon as you smoke, you have friends, right? Instantly, so you have that smoking, sharing. My very first job, actually, after I got the job, this man asked me, "Leon, do you smoke?" "Oh, yes, sir. Of course I smoke." Good. "Do you drink?" "Absolutely. Welcome to the team." Today you'd go, "You're not coming to work for me, baby. Goodbye," right? But at the time, it was part of the culture, right? And so I smoked for all these years. And then one day, we had a house, big house and all that, near the beach. And I used to go running with my youngest son, along the beach, and had a dog, beautiful dog. And then the game was to run back to the front door, right? So we had about, I guess, half a kilometer we'd have to sprint. And he's 5 years old or 8 years old or whatever, and and it just got harder and harder to sprint. And one day, he almost beat me, and he's 8 years old. And I said to myself, wow. And I'm 35, I think. Wow, if this continues, I'm not going to live to be 60 or 70. I'm not going to enjoy my children and grandchildren, not. So I decided to quit. And I quit 10 times, Luke, at least, right? And when I finally quit smoking, it was like a wave of liberty had come over me, right? However, look, my father died, big shock, and I walked down the street and I bought a pack of cigarettes and I was smoking again. Same, within 2 weeks I was smoking as much as I had smoked 5 or 10 years before. And then my girlfriend of the time didn't like smoking and influenced me very strongly to quit smoking, which I did, and now it's gone. I'll never smoke again. I do nothing. I'm not occupied with the big five at all, right? And I'm liberated, And so I realize now that in a sense that if you want to keep a healthy lifestyle, if you want to be free, like the man with heroin, he didn't have to throw everything away, but he felt guilty. He was not good enough. He was not good enough to be able to be prosperous, if you will. The clochards in Paris, the same thing. They all have an excuse. I spoke to a clochard once who was a doctor, if you believe such the story that, and he couldn't take the stress. And he said one day he was drinking, and finally he's here. Here he's free. And gee, is the story true? Could be. There's many stories of people that have stumbled into drug addiction, alcoholism, lost everything. Many. It's not an original story. They're afraid to be the beautiful person they deserve to be, Luke. That's what the chapter is about.
Why are people afraid to become who they should be? Is it hard to recognize your gifts? Why do we give up the struggle for self-discovery?
Well, the myth of Sisyphus, of course, is that he's cursed to push the boulder up the hill, and it almost gets to the top, and then it falls back, right? And he's forced to repeat this again and again, well, forever, actually. And I think, Luke, it's hard to be me, right? It's hard to be, you have this gift, but it's still difficult to unfold the beautiful you. And that's why I think most people actually fail. Because, it's the old story, you push and you push. I read a book years ago, look, very interesting book. And it was called, I believe, something to the effect of spiritual materialism. And the guru was saying, basically, most people, they struggle to be enlightened, struggle to be free. And just when they're at the door, all they have to do is reach up, grab the handle and open the door, and they stop. They don't make it. They give it up, right? And, well, let's take Tuesdays with Morrie. It's a great book. The principal character, the writer, is Mitch Albom. He wants to be a piano player, professional piano player, and he tries for 2 years, and he stops. And he gives up his goal, right? And he's able to write the book. I guess that's a blessing. But there's a musician by the name of Billy Joel. You probably know him. He wrote one song, Piano Man. He's still playing it. So successful. So there we are. So who's to know if Mitch Albom hadn't gone on for a third year, whether he wouldn't have been Billy Joel. So he decided to stop. So I suspect that many of us are almost there. And we give up at just when we should push on. And it's hard to push on, Luke. It's hard, gosh. But magic is if you're on the right path, and you know, if you're on the right path, it's there, but you cannot give it up. You can't, you just push on, I guess basically till you die. I'm a professional educator, Luke. It took me a long time to come here, right? A long time through. I always wanted to do this. It's always been my dream, but there's no money in this, right? I had a young family in Canada, a teacher's salary. I mean, it's a good salary, but you can't educate your children properly. You can't live that capitalistic lifestyle on a teacher's salary, right? Can't, my estimation. You can live a conventional middle-class life, but you can't get out of the box, the capitalistic box. So I was a capitalist for quite a number of years, right? And when I was finally free of that and I finally came to here, I realized how fortunate I was to be offered this opportunity in my lifetime. And it happened to be in Taiwan. Could have been Poland, could have been France, could have been anywhere, right? But it wasn't. It was here. That's why I'm so appreciative of Taiwan. I respect this country so much because it's given me an opportunity to be me. And I've worked hard at it, and I'm a good educator, and I'm loyal, and I'm hardworking, all those attributes, of course. But it's taken me a lifetime to come here. I'll never give this up, Luke. Never, never, never.
Why can you never lose hope? Why can you not stop your life mission?
Well, the story of Dr. Frankl, of course, Viktor Frankl, in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, is they take an eminent doctor, the Nazis in this case, they take an eminent doctor from his position, he's probably the highest position in Austria really at the time. They take him and they break him. They put him in a death camp in Auschwitz, Birkenau, and probably other ones as well. And he suddenly becomes an industrial worker. So he's a man from an immense education, and now he's an industrial worker. And the guards, who are uneducated, brutalize them, right? And there's a whole group of men. And the conditions look like they're not going to go away. And they don't. They don't. They don't go away for 1 month, or 2 months, or 6 months, or 1 year, or 2 years. And along the way, people die, right? His colleagues, they die. They give up hope. But Viktor Frankl believes there's a reason for this suffering. There's a reason to him, and it pushes him on and is on and on and on. And finally, he's liberated after 3 years. And the remarkable part of the story is that statistically, the Nazis felt that when they selected you for labor work, that you would die in 6 months. They gave you 1,500 to 2,000 calories a day. Look, you and I have had that for breakfast, right? Already, gosh. And we're not working like an industrial worker, moving bricks and blocks and what have you, being beaten and brutalized. So he believed in his heart of hearts that there was he had a mission to accomplish. And I mean, a remarkable story when you think of it. 3 years. You can go to TED.com and see him speak, right? He's dead for maybe 20 years now, but the energy and power of that man, I think he died at 97. He was right. He was right. He was an example of why you need hope. And all of us, I believe, are Viktor Frankls. All of us. But very few of us. What's the old story? Many are called, but few are chosen. But the point is, you choose yourself, right? You choose to finish your mission, right? Once you know what your mission is, you had better get down to work. And if you don't, if you compromise, if you sell out, right? Well, that's you know. Viktor Frankl says in his book that you know when you've compromised and you've sold out. You know, Luke, you know. And that's why people suffer, because you know in your heart of hearts you sold out from your mission. Whatever your mission was, Luke, whatever it was, whatever you were supposed to be, you sold out. So,
what are the consequences of not striving for my life mission?
But you have to spend some time with you. And I think people are afraid, right? What's the first thing that you knew this morning, Luke? First thing, you knew you were alive. How do you know it's you? You know it's you, David Hume, because of memories, right? So now you know you're alive. So you don't know if anyone else is really alive, but you know you're alive. The old beetle in the box, Wittgenstein, we've talked about this phenomenon, right? And so now that you know you're alive, you obviously are in control of your reality. And you've created the reality around you, Luke. Whatever your antecedents are, born into a rich family, poor family, you're ugly, you're attractive, you're white, black, pink, orange. Hey, these are givens to deal with. Get on with it. Get on with it.